This car here has been around for a while. This is the Aston Martin DB9. It's the only Aston I haven't driven out of their current lineup. Just because, to be honest, it didn't interest me that much. And I know that sounds silly, but when you have the V12 Vantage and V8 Vantage on one end, the Vanquish on the other, the DB9 can get lost in the shuffle. But maybe it shouldn't, because this is the truest embodiment of the Grand Tourer in the whole lineup. It's a little bit softer than the Vanquish. It's got way more juice than the V8 Vantage. This is a V12 car. There's a lot of fun to be had here. It is still, at its heart though, an Aston Martin. So what makes this car a GT? How does it earn that badge? Well, the engine gets a little bit more power. Under the hood is that nearly 6-liter V12 engine. Normally in the DB9 it makes 510 horsepower. Here it makes 540. The torque level stays the same at 457 pound-feet. This engine is paired with the 6-speed semi-automatic gearbox that I do not love, especially because the 8-speed is out and it blows this thing away. Still, one major upgrade for this car, and the Aston lineup as a whole, besides the Vanquish, is the fact that they finally upgraded all their cars to this infotainment center stack that was debuted on the Vanquish. And it's so much better than the system that used to be in here, which, I'll be honest, was garbage. When you're paying this much for a car, you want things to work, you want them to work well. Now it does. I mentioned paying this much for a car, and this one doesn't come cheap, as you might expect. The base price of a DB9 GT Coupe is $191,000. This car, I haven't seen the window sticker on it. I'm guessing we're probably somewhere between $220 and $240. It's the price you gotta pay for noise like that, though. That V12 just wails off these canyon walls on Ortega Highway. Now, this car does drive softer than the Vanquish. It has adaptive damping suspension, so you can put it into a sport mode. The exhaust is nice and loud. The steering feels a little bit lighter. It's just generally softer on its toes, so you kind of take it a little bit easier in the corners and you relax into your fluted seats, as these are called, with their GT embroidery. There's a GT badge on the back too. Now that's not to say you're not gonna have fun on a canyon road in this thing. This thing is built for canyon roads. It's not built for the racetrack, even though it does have carbon ceramic brakes. Problem with Aston's carbon ceramic brakes, and I actually once asked at an Aston Martin press conference if steel brakes were an option, and they laughed at me and asked me why I'd want that. I would love to have taken them for a ride through the street and hear the squealing and squeaking and everybody looking at me, not because, oh, that guy's in a cool Aston. They're looking at me like, oh, why the hell are that guy's brakes broken? Even though they're not. They're just squeaky, squealy carbon ceramic brakes. Now, one of the things that I hope comes from this partnership with Mercedes is that they use the Mercedes carbon ceramic brakes, because those don't make a peep. This thing makes just tremendous noise. Every Aston car makes great noise. The V8s sound excellent. They're like the Corvettes of Britain. This V12, though, is just sonically wonderful. That adaptive damping suspension, you can actually feel it. There's a difference between, on and off, or the sport and normal mode. This thing firms right up perfectly. It's riding at some pretty massive wheels and tires at all 4 corners, so there's good grip here. One thing I love about Aston, besides the brutish power with the sophisticated style and luxury inside, is that they let you turn off the traction control. Even though I haven't done that yet here, I do have it in track mode, and track mode gives you slip angle. It gives you wheel spin. They should call it hooligan mode, because that's what it turns you into. A delightfully dapper, wealthy hooligan. The 1%er hooligan. Inside, this cabin space is wonderful, as you'd expect it to be. One of my favorite parts is this center stack. They use this very weathered looking wood that's not glossy at all. It feels like it is wood, so it's not the plasticky crap you'd find in lesser cars, and it looks fantastic in here, especially against this blue and white contrasting leather with the blue leather and the white stitching. This looks excellent. This really is, though, the last gasp of the DB9. This car is on its way out. The replacement's already been announced. You already know that. Hell, there's already a DB10 out there if your name is James Bond. The DB11 is coming, and it's going to bring some really cool features with it. Pay close attention to what's going on in the DB10 movie car. There's tons of images and footage out there of that car. Look at the interior, look at what's going on. I guarantee you some of that is going to translate to the DB11, and it's going to be awesome. Probably not everything, because it's still movie car, concept car-y, but expect the DB11 to be a nice leap forward over the DB9, which is going to be fantastic. If this is the last gasp, it's not so much a gasp as it is a roaring intake of breath and an exhale of V12 excellence. Easy being cheesy. It is hot in here. It is definitely hot in here. Roads, where we're going, we definitely need roads. Yeah, no question about it. Hello, my baby. The 1%er hooligan who shies away from his parents' black card, even though he needs an endless supply of tires. Let's see if we can put the top down at this speed, shall we? Oh, doing 26 miles an hour, 27, 28. Probably gonna keep it under 30. But, yo, we're popping the top, son. Popping that top. Put the windows down, let the sun shine in. Drop a gear and fucking punch it.